What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Gearheads Garage production. And today's upload, we're going to be getting this here push mower behind us running again ish. As you can see in this kit, it does come with the piston rings, piston, wrist pin, the wrist pin retaining clips, Now, this Toro push mower, it is a PT-21, which stands, it's a 21-inch cut trim mower, I believe. That's what the tag says. But it is a bagger mower, and according to this piece right here, it looks like this thing can be self-propelled. So we will find that out. But this was actually a mower that was donated to me. So, to the viewer of the channel that donated this mower to me, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We will be putting it to good use around the property here. But, as you can tell, the carburetor is off of it. And that is because it was attached to this fuel line and this governor arm. And the primer bulb in it was non-existent, really. And the mounting bolts going from the intake piece to the head was missing, but that's no big deal. We can find bolts to fit that. And but first, I've been working a little bit on this on the side, but I have gotten most of the jets sprayed out with some carburetor cleaner. And that's fine. But now we have got to do some work to the gasket, and I will show you that here in a second. So guys, this right here is the paper gasket that came off of a carburetor spacer that was on this. And we are going to be redoing this with a new one because I have got some gasket maker. And but also, if you can see all of the chafing that's inside of the mouth of the gasket right there, we're going to be cleaning that up hopefully. And I will be showing you guys how I make my gaskets. Alright, so guys, I have my gasket material out. And I have taken myself a Sharpie marker. That is the old gasket. And I have traced that with that. As you can tell, that looks familiar. And the way that I make my gaskets is I find me a socket that fits just inside the mouth of the carburetor. See how that fits real snug, but doesn't sit right above it? This is a 14mm socket. Put that 14mm socket right where that hole is, right in the center. Center it up as much as you can, and you beat the snot out of it with the hammer, and that usually is enough to cut this. But keep a razor knife on you just in case. Well, about 30 minutes, and there we are. It's still a little rough, but it'll be fine. Alright, so now we have the new primer bulb installed, and that right there is the part number for it. And we have our washer with our spacer with the carburetor, and we also have head bolts, or not head bolts, carburetor studs. This right here is actually a head bolt off of a small engine. This one, I don't know where it came from, but at any rate, they are the same threads and they fit rather nicely. So I wanted to see if I can try to find a washer for both of these. They probably don't need them, but I'm going to try to find one anyway, just for the sake of it. Alright, so guys, the carburetor is on, the primer bulb is installed, all of the lines are hooked up. So now the only thing left to do is check the oil, make sure that's good, and put some gas in it, and let's see if she'll rip tear chip. Oil looks about brand new. Alright, so guys, it has been a minute. It has been about a month since I last filmed this, and mainly the reason is because I was waiting for a few parts for this. The inside of this bowl was a little nasty. But I cleaned everything out. I put some carburetor cleaner in it, and I flushed it all out, and everything should be good to go. Put a float bowl gasket on there. I will put a part number for this if I can find one to it. And but yeah, when I was cranking over the motor, it wasn't wanting to do anything. So I thought, well, look, you big dummy, you probably ought to go through the carburetor before you do anything like that. So just got done doing that off camera, and well, let's go get the mower again and see if we can't make some noise. Well, I think it runs. I guess a little carb cleaning was all it needed. Now guys, when I was tuning the carburetor as much as I could to get it to run like a top, it did act like it was running rough, like it was running on choke, which this thing does not have a choke. It just has a primer bulb, but which I guess is basically a push mower choke. But other than that, it doesn't really have a choke, but it sounded like it was running on it, which leads me to think that maybe the ignition coil magneto is on its way out the door. That's not really a big issue. I could get one of them ordered up, but I mean, it runs fairly fine. And the reason why I think that it is the ignition coil is because the last clip that y'all saw this thing running, it sounded normal, but like every now and then it would sound like, you know, it was running on choke. It would start to miss, and it would start to cough and whatever, but then it would clear up after a while, and then it'd go back to doing it, and then it was real intermittent, which is the reason being of why I think it may be the magneto going out. So, but other than that, she's a runner. Running around the driveway, and I did figure out that on the throttle right here, apparently there's a slide right here. If I can, you can see how that moves. Apparently this thing is self-propelled, and this sucker will take off if you're not watching. Alright guys, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It took a long time for me to make just cause, you know, waiting for parts and stuff. Yeah, if you liked it, leave it a big thumbs up. It's common sense, right? If you're stopping there for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel for more bringbacks like this and other shenanigans that goes on around here. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.